Are you interested in the paranormal? Join us at Bordertown Paracon 2024, Saturday, September 28th from 9 until 7:30 in Caney, Kansas, at the Rec Center on Highway 75 just south of Pizza Hut. Listen to experts from the four-state area discuss legends, ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, and other cryptids. Door prizes and raffles, medium, tarot, and oracle readings, and vendors. It's free for ages 12 and up. For more information, visit SEK Bordertown Paranormal on Facebook or go to bordertownparanormal.com.
Yay. Good evening, everybody. Woohoo. In case you can't tell, did you? Oh, no. Yeah. Tonight is our show all about the upcoming Bordertown Paracon. And my name's Pam, and this is my co-host, Jess. And then we've got with us Mark and Enzo. So,
hello.
Yay. We're excited to have everybody here.
Yeah, we're missing a few members, but we've got the good portion of the members.
Yeah, we do.
That's right.
So, Jess, you want to do some housekeeping?
Yeah, we just got the tiniest little bit before we dive into the Paracon here. So, first of all, we really want to thank all of our new subscribers and followers on Facebook. You guys are awesome. And for you, those of you on Facebook, please just take a moment to like and share. And for everyone on YouTube, remember to give us that thumbs up and hit that bell if you haven't yet, so you can be the first to know when we go live and when we put out new content. You can also find us wherever you get your podcasts if you want to listen in instead of watch live. And we also encourage everyone to hop on the chats, join in the conversation, and stick around until the end for a few rounds of the notebook game, which we will still be playing tonight. I hauled in a whole pile. I'm not even sure how many that, so I'll have to count that out later.
That's awesome.
I almost bought you a bunch of notebooks on Temu the other day.
Oh, Lord. You really want to perpetuate?
They were leather bound and about that thick.
Ooh, fancy leather bound.
Yeah.
Well, it's from Temu. It's like the lines go up and down or something.
Yeah, they might. I don't know. Might not have lines.
A little wavy.
Little wavy. Cool. Do we want to do? Are we going to do word of the week?
Oh yeah. Let me pull it up. I thought I had it up already. I guess I don't. There it is. Okay.
All right. So I thought this one, it's my week to do it. And I thought this week, this was quite appropriate because we're coming into Paracon, and the tagline for Paracon and for our show is "It's all connected." And a lot of people don't know that Fortean, the term Fortean, which means of or relating to or denoting paranormal phenomena. It's basically a halo, a umbrella term for anything weird, off kilter, not normal, strange stuff. A lot of people don't realize it's actually named after a gentleman. It's named after Charles Fort. And Charles Fort is kind of like the I Ching. He's like the guru. He's like our king when it comes to all things weird and high strangeness. He started off, he was born in the late 1800s and lived through the early 1900s. And he spent his life in libraries and pulling newspapers and finding every strange and unusual story he could find and collaborating them into books. And he was just like any of us. At times he doubted himself. And there was times when he threw away entire notebooks and folders full of this information only to start back over again. He's put out several books, most of which you can still get. Passed away in New York City in the very early 30s. But he is still talked about in reverent tones today. Some people thought he was an absolute nutter. Some people thought he was absolutely wonderful. But either way, when we say something is Fortean, we're talking about Charles Fort. So it's kind of cool. He's like, he started all the high strangeness stuff that we all love so much. He made it okay to collect it. So
can you imagine what was in the notebooks that he threw away?
Oh,
who knows?
I can't imagine.
It makes me sick to think about it.
He spent like 5 straight years in London, and he spent nearly every day in the libraries there, just hunting and researching and finding every little scrap of weirdness he could find and compiling it. And I know that a couple of those notebooks went into the fireplace at one point or another. So,
oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
yeah.
that's sad.
Seeing the picture of him, I would say that Mark's mustache is rather Fordian.
Oh,
It
it is. Good
Wow.
observation.
Yeah.
Well, when I'm not using it as a mustache, I can use it as a pot cleaner.
Oh, God.
Soup strainer.
When I was
Works for that too.
when I was pulling up Charles Fort's stuff today, just to kind of rehash so I could remember, because I've studied on him before and I just needed to kind of catch up on it. And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, man, he is so much like every one of us. We start out slowly. You start compiling little scraps of this and that and trying to make sense of it. And it's not making sense. But the more that happens, the more you gather, because your brain is constantly sitting there trying to figure out the puzzle. And I was sitting there thinking about that today, and I remembered I've pulled up some older notes of mine back when I was going through the Euphanaut cipher by Alan Greenfield and some other stuff. And I remembered I went back and found a quote from him that I fell in love with. I'm not the biggest Alan Greenfield fan. He's a little hard to take sometimes, but he said something that I thought was so amazing. And I think it really applies here to this and to all of our situations. He said, at some point, you need to resign yourself to the fact that you may never know what exactly all this is. But if you're very fortunate, you'll get the poetry of it.
I like that.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. He said, it's a transformational experience. It's your hero's journey. I just thought it was really cool.
That is awesome. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Teddy Roosevelt in that picture.
Yeah, it's the
a
mustache.
Little bit, yes.
Must
The glasses and the mustache.
Yeah, I think
his hairline, I think, too.
Yeah.
He just needs some glasses.
I think he has some on, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has some glasses, right?
Does he?
Little limbs, yeah. Okay, Jess, put your glasses on.
Oh, Lord. I don't have the mustache to go with it, though.
No, but now you can see his glasses.
Oh, I can see far away. It's up close that I can't see.
That's a bummer. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's my fault. I have you guys on the really small screen right now because I've got notes off over to the side. I was looking for.
Nice.
Yes. But there's your what the weird word of the week. So now every time we say something's Fordian, you will know who we're talking about.
Absolutely.
He was so badass. He got an entire thing named after him, an entire revolution of weirdness. So,
we talk about astonishing legends and things like that. And they always say that, they have Blanket Fortiana, and that's where that comes from, is Fordian.
Yep.
Charles
Fortiana.
Fort. Blanket Fortiana. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
All righty. Where do we want to start at? Do you know?
Oh my gosh. Well, we should start when it is. So the Paracon is this Saturday, the 28th, in Caney at the Rec Center. Doors open at 9. And holy cow, we have a lot of stuff to go through.
We do.
Who wants to start?
Oh man, I was gonna pull up our little slideshow that we use, and it's too big.
Oh no.
It's too big.
It's too big. I just went to, let me see what it said. Pull it back up. I've never tried to bring something on that they said it was too big. Yep. Please choose a smaller file. The size limit is 50 MB.
Oh
no. Well,
can you sit there and can you split it up a little bit while we talk about it?
Maybe talks amongst yourselves. And
okay.
Talks.
Well, you're bringing it up through Streamlab? Is that what you're doing?
No, I actually downloaded it as a PowerPoint so I could bring it up. Just
You
through
should be able to open it as
slides.
the PowerPoint and then share that screen if you have two
Okay.
screens.
See, you always
then
forget that. I
Do
don't
it that
know.
way. Yeah.
Oh, there we
In
go.
my defense, I'm ill. That's
She
going to be
is.
my
She's on the
defense
meds.
tonight. I'm on the meds.
Yes. We're getting her very clear today. Apparently yesterday she sounded like an old smoker lady. So
I did. I kind of sounded like this.
Bad. I'm just drawing that way.
there you go. Yeah, so the Paracon, so we're coming into our 6th year, and it wasn't until just 3 years ago that this really kind of blew up into what it is today. I completely blame Pam.
Yay.
Because she was like, let's do this. And I was like, okay. But yeah, so it's basically a 1-day retreat, a networking tool that we wanted for everyone in the 4 states area. We're in Kansas, so everyone in Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arkansas in all sorts of fields. So ghost hunters and teams and Bigfoot hunters and UFO hunters and authors and historians and folklorists and mediums. We wanted to have a way for all of them to get together and just have a day to network and to get to know each other and to make new friends and acquaintances and learn new stories, and maybe allow some of these fields to start to combine a little bit. Especially in our area, when we first started as a team back in 2012, it was not heard of like crypto people mixing with ghost hunters.
Not at
Bigfoot
all.
people did not mix with UFO people. In fact, they made fun of each other's groups for the audacity to believe that stuff. And the Paracon has been a really great way to kind of stomp down those fences and open up some lines of communication. And I'm sounding braggadocious, but it's absolutely true. Because of the Paracon, new podcasts have been made and new groups have been formed. I mean, just in our group alone this last summer, we've added someone who's all about UFOs, and we have added someone from Red Dirt Cryptids. That would not have happened 10 years ago. We would have been like, I don't think so.
Yeah. We probably wouldn't have known either one of these guys, because I know I reached out to Scott for the first big Paracon, and that's how we met him. And that's how we met Brian Terrell, was through Scott. You know, and then poor Enzo kind of got drug in from another podcast, but
yeah.
Thanks, Will.
Which is my life. Yeah.
Okay, I got it fixed. Let me know when you want me to bring it up.
We'll go ahead and pull it up. We'll start going through it. Yeah, so this is kind of a 1-day retreat for all of us. And it kind of grew and grew and grew. And then, of course, asking the public to come in was also part of it. We wanted especially we live in the Bible Belt, so getting some of this stuff across to the public has been a little hard, but I was pleasantly surprised how welcoming especially Caney was.
Yeah, they've been great.
That really surprised me.
Oh, it's like Weird Central. I would think they would invite stuff like that all the time. Good.
It was so hush hush.
Yeah.
So hush hush for so many years, though, because you didn't want to bring that focus onto our area.
Yeah, it is Weird Central, but people don't talk about it, or didn't. They're starting to now, because we're starting to introduce this.
Yep. So I did put this up. I didn't show you this one.
Oh, yeah. Great. Yeah. So this year we're doing something new. So every year when you come into the con, you would get a free slip of paper that had the schedule on the front, and on the back it had a list of restaurants that were participating in the area with a little map. So you could go off for lunch, because we let out for lunch for a lunch hour. So you can leave and go get something to eat, stretch your legs, maybe do a little shopping around our little area, because we've got some cute antique shops and stuff like that. And then come back. But this year, just to garner a little bit of extra money and give something for everybody to be able to take home, we made these little souvenir booklets, which I think are really cool. I love mine so much. I've been using it instead of my Paracon book. because it's got all the information.
It's got all the stuff in it. Yay!
It does.
That's awesome.
It's so much easier just to grab this than to grab my whole flapping notebook.
Awesome.
Yeah, inside of it, you're going to find the full schedule, and you're going to see write-ups on all of the panels and the moderators and bios on the presenters and what their presentations are about, and menus for the pop-up restaurant that's going to be there this year on the parking lot, and just all the podcasts that are represented, and more and more and more and more, and the vendors and all it. Anywho, I'm super excited about it.
They look really great too. I don't know. Can you hold one up and kind of show what it? Yeah, they came out really good.
They came out wonderful, and they're only $1. And I tell you, so like all of the proceeds that come from the sales of these, and that come from the sales of the merchandise we have available in the concessions, all of that goes straight back into the Paracon, so we can continue to keep it free for everyone that's coming in. So if you're coming to the con, please, have some cash on hand and stuff, because we're going to have these to get. You're going to be able to have people sign them. We're going to make sure to have pins everywhere. There's space in the back for your notes or for signatures. You can have your whole booklet signed if you want. That's something else I'm super proud of about our Paracon, is we are not the stuffy, we tuck everybody back away in the green room and you're only allowed to see them on our stage, and don't dare talk to them unless you want to pay $20 to get their signature on a glossy. Everybody that comes to speak at our Paracon is available to the public at all times. You are free to ask questions and chat with them even while they're on panels. And of course, when they're off panels, they'll be made available to talk to you, take your stories, maybe give you some advice on maybe a situation you're having in your own home. But feel free. So we're not the stuffy Paracon. I think we're the fun, homey type of Paracon.
And we've heard that from others that participate in bigger Paracons as well, that they like ours because it is so homey and everyone is so accessible.
It's fun and laid back.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite part about going to some of those bigger Paracons is hanging out with all the other attendees and trading stories and listening to what brought them there and all what they're looking to get out of things, all of that. And, maybe criticize the crappy thing that we just walked out of, stuff like that, where you kind of commiserate as guests, kind of a thing. But that's my favorite part, is just sitting down and just talking with everybody. I love it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We've met some really cool people.
Yeah. And I also really like the fact that all of our speakers and panelists, they absolutely feel free to go in and watch everyone else's panels and presentations and stuff. They sit there and kind of support them too, and kind of help push the questioning along to help out whoever's speaking at that time to kind of get their point across. So we all just work so well, which was shocking, because that 3 years ago was the first time we really went big and had multiple speakers from multiple fields, and we all kind of held our breath, wondering if a fight was going to break out or if someone was going to stomp out mad.
We were prepared. We were.
But luckily, there's been some opinions that have been pushed forward, but I don't think it's ever been said meanly, or
no, nothing's even ever reached like a heated discussion. It's always handled very well.
Yes.
So here's our schedule for the day. At 9:30, we're going to open the doors at 9, and then at 9:30, Jess will do the intro and the welcome, and then the first panel is going to start at 9:35, and that's going to be the science of ghosts, what they are and where do they come from, and that will be moderated by Adrian Scalf. He's from Fort Smith, Arkansas, and he's with RVPRI. And if you watch me on Amok Paranormal, he is the Adrian from Amok, so you'll recognize his face. And then 11 o'clock, we're going to have Jeff Provine. He's an Oklahoma City author, and he's going to give a presentation on Oklahoma's ghost children, which is really a fascinating subject. 12:50.
I was going to say he guested on our last show. If they want to go check that out and learn more about his presentation.
And Jeff will be bringing some books, right?
Absolutely. He's going to bring books, and he's actually got a new book that he just wrote with a co-author that he will do a little mini signing, and he'll sign any of his books. And from what he said, he's going to bring a little bit of everything. So he's got some great titles out there.
He's got a lot of titles.
He does.
Great. Very
prolific, but all good stuff. 12:50, Ken Romeller. He's a paranormal investigator from St. Louis, Missouri. He's one of the founders of Monster Paranormal, and he's also on Amok as well. And he's going to give a presentation called Boneyards. It'll be going over the history of cemeteries and graveyards and things like that. So it'll be really cool. Then at 1:50, we're going to have Christy Campbell. She's our friend. She's been on the show a few times. You might be familiar with her. And she is a psychic medium, and she's going to talk about how it was growing up to be a psychic medium. And then at 2:20, she's actually going to do an open room reading, which we're super excited about. That should be a good time. Yeah, it'll be neat. 3:00, we're going to have Bigfoot and Cryptids, the forbidden and ancient history to modern times. And one of our new Bordertown members, Scott Rademacher, he's going to be the moderator for it. Thank you. You saw me blink, didn't you? 4:45, Jim Gray from Geneseo, Kansas. He is going to give a presentation on UFOs, Doc Jansen and Geneseo, the UFO capital of Kansas. Jim is an absolute gem. A gem is a gem, literally. We went up to Geneseo. When was that? The beginning of May? June?
Yeah.
Or May. Yeah.
I can't even remember. No, it was July. It was the beginning of July. For UFO Day in Kansas UFO Day. And we spoke up there, and we had a blast. He is a hoot and a half.
It was a really great.
It was a great time.
I mean, it was great. There was just so many people there, and they were all so interested and engaged. It was amazing.
Very attentive. Like whenever we did a couple of different presentations where it was basically just us. It was just us up there yapping.
Yeah.
But telling a few tales, and when we would open it up to questions, there was highly interactive. With the crowd and asking us really good questions and stuff like that. So they were into it. They loved it.
Yeah, they were. It was great. And then at 6:15,
we may or may not have had more hang around to listen to ours. I'm just saying that.
So anyway, 6:15, we have a panel, UFO or UAP, government involvement with aliens and saucers from Project Sign Up to Today. And our very own Enzo, he's going to be the head speaker and moderator for that panel. And it should be a really good one. That's going to be fun.
We'll lightly go over the different programs and projects throughout the years, and where they were on the truth scale as far as denying or saying, well, maybe there's something to it, kind of a scale. And I imagine we'll probably spend more. We'll have like a couple of case examples from each year, the more famous stuff, to kind of put things in perspective. And we'll probably be spending more time on the latter part, which will be everything for the last several years, because it's really taken off. I mean, we've got great interest in the topic now. Where
it's all over the news again.
You don't have to be quiet about it so much like you used to. That giggle factor is there. Not every UFO story is met with the X-Files theme on the news and kind of poking fun at it. But at the end of that, because it's going to be the last of the day, probably like the last 15 or 20 minutes, depending on how the conversation's rolling along, is we'll have open questions for the audience. So they can ask anything, and if that's even slow, half of the people on the panel will be from the ghost side and the cryptid side and everything else. So you can ask questions about anything at that stage right at the end. So, and then what's next, Pam?
Then at 7:30, we will do our closing, and the door prizes and the raffle items will all be announced. And we'll just wrap up the day. I can't wait.
Yep.
I'm super excited. It's going to be great.
Yeah. I will
And
say
we will have some door prizes throughout the day too.
We will. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So the last, especially 3 years ago, when we kind of really first started off doing, all these big panels and stuff like that, we have kind of kept the topics fairly tame for the public, especially who, obviously are not as deep divers as we all are and some of our comrades. We've kept it very tame, but this year, I think we're going to just let it go. We're just going to go full force. If the public's not understanding, they can always ask questions, but I think it's time to unleash the beast and let it fly. I've always said, like, I wish that the public could understand what they're missing out on, because especially 3 years ago at that first big one, I of course reminded everybody in the morning. I always have like a little group session with all of the speakers and presenters before they go out to the floor. And I reminded them, I was like, now remember, the public is not in the know like we are. They don't know all the theories and the language that we use in our everyday vernacular. So try to tame it down just a little bit so they can kind of understand and follow along with what we're saying. I don't want to alienate the public right off the bat and they go, well, we don't even know what they're talking about. And we've done that for the last 2 years. And so I'm hoping now that we've got enough returning public that have come the last couple of years that we can start picking up our game a little bit. So I think this year, rather than pushing everybody down a little bit, I'm going to let them go. But the public is missing out on this. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. They would have these panels, and we would do basics. And even some of the panelists were getting just a little bit bored, I feel, with the topic, because we're well past these base items. But they would kind of really get talking about a particular topic, and then we would have to end the panel. And then the talking that would happen in the green room, it was as if a secondary panel would pick up.
Yep.
And I almost wish like the public could see that, although I'm sure they probably wouldn't appreciate it as much as I did. But the interesting things that would come out in the green room afterwards. So I'm hoping it will happen on the floor this year.
Yeah, that's something for next year. A backstage pass.
Ooh, there you go.
Small fee for. You have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, of course. You will not discuss what you're discussing outside of that circle.
I think the podcast that we have going, I think that'll help too, because they get a better taste of the deep dives that we do. And
there
I think
are a lot of the people who have frequented these last few years who I've been seeing in the comments on the lives and such. So I really think they can keep up.
I think they can. I think they will be able to. Okay, and then we'll move on into meeting the speakers, moderators, and panelists.
All right,
and
here we go.
Here we go. Those that don't know, this is Adrian, and he's from Fort Smith, Arkansas. I may go through some of these fast because we've got a ton of
go for it. Well,
things.
we have some time to fill out too.
Yeah.
I think there's 80 or 85 slides.
Woo!
I know.
Wow.
It's a lot. Yeah, he's from River Valley Paranormal. He is a paranormal investigator, lecturer, and like I said, he is with a Muck paranormal podcast. We talked about the fact that some podcasts and things were born from the Paracon, and Amok is one of those. That is, it came directly from our Paracon.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's Jeff. We talked about him a little bit. There's some of his titles there that he will have available. And then he'll also have his newest book. Is it 100 places to visit in Oklahoma City?
It's 101 weird places you never knew about in Oklahoma City.
Okay. Wow, I was way off.
We talked a little bit about that when he was on 2 weeks ago, and he was talking about some really interesting things. Pick up that book because
it's fascinating. Yeah, he
you
had some
never
great
know what's under your
stories.
feet. Yeah,
You do know
so
it.
interesting.
And then there's Ken. Again, he is on Amok with us, and he is one of the founding members of Monster Paranormal. And there's Miss Christy, our psychic medium and energy healer. In addition to the presentation that she's doing and the room reading, she will also be offering services out in the main lobby area.
Yeah. I actually have her prices. She changed her thing this year. So she's making it a little bit more affordable for some people who maybe couldn't afford that original. She was doing $20 for a reading. And she's changed it up. So this time, instead of $20 for a reading, she's going to do $5 a question. So you can come and ask her anything for $5, and she will read you for that particular question. And then, of course, you can stack up on top of that up to 20. And then the quantum healings will start out at 20 for 10 minutes, 35 for 20, and $50 for 30 minutes. And she's bringing her table this time so she can do a full quantum healing on you rather than just the one sitting there in the chair. She can kind of work over all of you. And Pam and I can most certainly tell you that it really helps.
It does.
She's worked on both of us over the phone. And
she worked on me over the phone, and she really helped my knee.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fascinating what she can do.
Yeah. She's also giving a gift basket for the raffle this year. So it'll be full of fun witchy type items and knickknacks, she said. She said it'll be super fun.
Nice. That's exciting. All right. And then we have our very own Scott. He could not join us tonight. He's maybe he'll be able to later, but he wasn't able to when we started. But again, Scott is going to be leading up the cryptid panel. And then here's Jim. We love Jim. He's so awesome. He just makes me smile. He is fantastic.
When I went hunting for a photo for him to use on his ad, I had the hardest time choosing which one because he takes fabulous pictures. He's one of the most
photogenic.
Photogenic people I've ever met. He just looks like he crept right out of an old Western.
Yep. And that's what he normally dresses as. It's not like it's some costume or some getup. That's what he wears.
Yeah. He's a true cowboy. Yeah. And he has the best laugh ever. I know you guys will hear it and you'll see exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
You can't help but smile.
And his presentation is going to be awesome. He's got old reel-to-reel that we're most likely going to get to hear.
I cannot wait to hear those.
Yeah. From the 50s and the 60s, giving their firsthand accounts of UFO experiences. They're fabulous and fun and scratchy, and you're going to love it.
They are so good. We got to hear a lot of it when we were in Wamego, and they've transferred it over to digital from reel to reel, but it kept all that original. I don't know if you would call it patina on audio, but
audio crackle and hiss.
It's so good. So good. All right. And then we have our very own Enzo. Yay. Woo. Mr. Big Bucks there.
That's it. I wish I still had all
that. Right?
Watch it disappear. No paranormal required.
Then we've got Jess.
Yay, me.
Yeah, right. And there's me.
I bet she won't be smiling by the end of the day like that.
Yeah, we may be a little strained.
We're a little tired, but it'll be a big smile.
Have you seen the ads for the new Smile 2 movie? We'll all be looking like that at the end of it. There's Mark and Mike. He's a member. He's been on, I think, once with us.
Just once, yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. You'll get to meet him if you come to the Paracon. He's a great guy. And then Jennifer. And then we have Miss Tina. Tina is actually Adrian's wife. She's coming up with him from Fort Smith. And she's with River Valley Paranormal. She's a paranormal investigator with them. I'm looking at I'm trying to figure out why that covered itself up there. And then we've got Shaw. Shaw is another member of Amok. She also has her very own podcast called Exploring the Paranormal Perspective. And she's in her 3rd season now, and she's got some really good episodes out. So definitely give her a listen. She's got some great stuff. And then Debbie Thorson, she is part of Geeks, which Shauna is too. They're based out of Bartlesville. She's a paranormal investigator and researcher. And I just got to hang out with her not too long ago. We all went to Missouri State Pen.
She's a nice lady.
Debbie is. She's super nice.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pam and I might have scared her with our singing, though.
I know. I'm not sure she'll ever ride with me again. Actually, I'm riding with her. I take that back. I am riding with her to Arkansas. And then we've got Jason Alexander, also known as the Ghost Dad. He's a paranormal investigator and researcher and podcaster based out of Bartlesville. He's always great to have on panels. He's always got lots of opinions to share.
And I'd like to give him his kudos. I was talking about this, and I can't remember what we were. I think it was on one of the podcasts or something. But he really kind of gave us our start, or maybe it was at the last meeting. We were talking about that back in 2012 when we were still just barely moving along, not knowing what we were going to do. At the time, he was in charge of Bartlesville's paranormal team. He was the head of it, and he would invite us along to go on some of their stuff down to Pawhuska and down in Bartlesville and stuff like that. And he gave us the boot to get us out the door.
He did.
That team is no longer together, but he's still going strong online and stuff. So we always welcome him back every year.
And he knew Shauna before we knew Shauna, and he was like, "Hey, you really need to get with these guys. You know what they have going on is really good." And so, he asked her a couple of times, "Have you got a hold of him yet?" And when she said no, he's like, "I'm telling you, you need to." And she finally did. And it's been really good. It's been really good collaboration. And then we got Phil. Phil is the other half of What If Tomorrow with Mark. They've got a great thing. Plus, he's also got the Night Acres podcast. Mark, do you want to talk a little bit about what the What If Tomorrow podcast is?
What If Tomorrow started out basically kind of just everything that we found interesting. Eventually, we had to split it up. We were talking about what would happen if we had a tornado or a volcano or whatever. And then we would talk about preparedness, and then we would talk about Atlantis or what have you. And so then we decided to split it with On the Fringe, where we talk about all the fringy fun things, and then the more serious stuff we talk about on What If Tomorrow. But mostly we talk about preparedness and news and stuff and how it might affect you.
It's pretty good, though. I encourage everybody to go give it a listen. And then we've got Robert Prevost. He's out of Pocahontas, Arkansas. So he's way over in eastern Arkansas. We've had him on Bordertown Strange, and he's been on Amok as well. He wrote Monstrous Arkansas, and he will be bringing copies of it to sign and sell. He also recently started Monstrous podcast as well. Really great guy. He's really knowledgeable.
He's a nice guy.
He is. Really nice guy.
He's also donated one of his Monstrous Arkansas books signed for one of the raffles. So you can come and win one of his books. Yeah.
It's
nice.
It's got some really good stuff in it too. And then we've got Jason Roberts. Jason is with Road Trip Paranormal. They're based out of Wichita. And we've had him, I don't know, we haven't had him on Strange, have we? He's been on Amok a couple of times.
Yeah.
he's really knowledgeable. He's got some great info, great evidence that he's pulled in on the podcast with us.
Yes. He's also in charge of the Kansas Bigfoot organization.
He is. Yep. And then we've got his partner in crime, Jake Frisbee. He's a paranormal investigator, and I think he's going to be setting in on some panels as well.
Yep.
And then there's their whole group. I can't. Is everybody coming? I can't remember.
All but one. Three of them, I believe, 2 or 3 of them will be heading up their team table. Nice. I believe they have a little bit of merch to sell too. So you can check in on the Wichita side of things and chit chat with them about all the craziness that goes on up there, because there's a lot.
Stacy said, I see a pattern. Everyone's a really great guy or gal. They are. We wouldn't ask him to be part of it.
I mean, they are our people.
They are, for sure. And then we've got Miss Ashley. Ashley's from Caney. We grew up with Ashley, and her and her husband have started their own ghost hunting group, and they get to go to some really cool places.
Yeah.
They do a lot with Garnet Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
She's moving up. So she's going from being our door lady, which she's been for the last 2 years with Dana Lyle, and she's moving up into the con. So yay for her. She's also writing right now. She's hoping to get a new book out soon on all of her travels and things like that. So
I can't wait, because they go to some really cool places.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Brooke Montoya. She's from Oklahoma City. She wrote Haunted Atchison, which I think is pretty cool. And the picture that you see on there, that's actually the McIntyre Villa, which we've been to before. Fantastic place. If you ever get a chance to go, highly, highly recommend it. That was Enzo's first ghost hunting experience. And we warned him, hey, this one spoiled you because
I haven't got to go yet.
There was stuff happening constantly, and we're like, okay, just heads up. They're not all like this.
There was so much that we started ignoring things later, because the footsteps up and down the stairs. Yeah, heard it, done that. Okay, we need to look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at that. Let's look at something else.
I like that. Karen's in here. She said, and Enzo did great there. Yeah, you did.
Thank you. Yeah, I learned a lot from everybody up there. It was mostly like an educational thing for me. It was the first time
it really was. You got to see how different people
investigate.
It was really that was actually my favorite part. Was some groups are just really loud and they're talking back and forth and all that, and other groups were super quiet. They had all the lights off and they're just whispering to each other, and stuff like that. Yeah. I was like, wow, this is very, very different.
Mm-hmm. And then this is our VPRI this is Adrian and Tina's team out of Fort Smith, Arkansas. And then we've got Lisa Livingston Martin. We're excited to have her back. She's part of Paranormal Science Lab and part of Dark Ozarks out of Joplin. And I think in Paranormal Science Lab based out of Carthage, if I remember correctly.
Out of Carthage. They run the Kendrick House. That's a house you can actually pay to go investigate. Sometimes with Lisa, even Lisa sometimes takes those tours on herself and will lead you on a full night investigation. So check that out. Carthage, Missouri, haunts.
It's about 10 miles east of Joplin, so it's not that far away.
It is. Super interesting place. It's an original Civil War home. And they've kept it as close as can be. It's really an incredible place.
I know, Jess, you went there with Mike, and Mark and I haven't got to go yet, so hopefully one of these days we can get the whole team together and head over there.
It's the first time I've witnessed an actual orb in front of me, with literally the size of a volleyball. I could see with my own eyes, and I watched it travel in front of me and go around a corner and then disappear. It was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
That's so cool.
Nice.
And then there's Alex Martin. He's actually Lisa's son. And he partnered up with her on Dark Ozarks podcast. And we didn't mention that, but they have their podcast every Wednesday night. I believe it's at 7, isn't it?
Yep.
Same
on
time
their Facebook channel. Yeah.
And then he's part of Paranormal Science Lab as well. And this is the first year Alex will be here with us. Lisa's been before. Yeah. And then we have Coleman Ashley. He is with Red Dirt Cryptid out of I don't know, where is Coleman out of?
I'm not exactly sure. That's why it says Oklahoma.
Just Oklahoma.
But there's a secondary thing to that. So whenever I have someone who's a little more upper crust, like authors and things like that, who may not want their home given away,
gotcha.
I leave it vague. Coleman, while very young, is actually a filmmaker. He's created some films and things like that. He's pretty big on YouTube and everything too. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. If you go to his ad on our Facebook page, you can kind of see the links to some of those and you can go watch some of the stuff that he's done. So he should be really interesting to chit chat with. And him and his wife have their own ghost hunting team they just started too. So
nice.
Yeah.
And then we've got Eric Schrader. He's not too far from where you are, Enzo, and I guess where Scott is too. He's another field investigator for Red Dirt Cryptid. Really nice guy. He's been to Bordertown Presents before.
Yep.
And then we've got Doc McLumphy. He is from Tulsa, and he's with Ghost Hunters of South Tulsa, or the acronym GHOST. And he brings Christy up with him too, so we appreciate him. Double duty for that. And then we've got Clint Hancock. He's from Stillwater. I can't remember.
OPIS.
He's got Opus. Yeah, Opus. And does he still have another one, or is it just Opus?
It's just OPIS. He did have a podcast for a short while, but I think that's kind of fallen to the wayside.
Gotcha. And this will be like his third year to come up.
Yeah.
It'll be second. He missed last year because
he did, didn't he? That's right.
He had COVID last year, I believe.
Yeah.
But he's bringing his sister with him, who is a famous astrologist out of New Orleans. She's actually just happens to be in the area on vacation for the first time in a while. And he told her that he was going to have to be gone for a few days because he had Paracon. And she was like, can I tag along? So she's actually our third reader this year. We'll have Christy and we'll have Rachel Patton, who's doing our tarot for us because Lindsay's can't be here this year. And then we will have her as a full astrologer. So
yeah, you'll see her here in a little bit. We have a slide for her too. And Mike and Leah, can you tell them a little bit about them, Jess?
Yeah, so Mike and Leah, I actually got to know them through Ashley and Craig. They are friends of theirs. That's how they found out about us. Ashley and Craig were like, hey, you need to come to the Paracon. It's just the two of them, their own little team, L&M Paranormal, out of Abilene, Kansas. And they kind of take a Christian point of view on their hunts. So it'll be really exciting to kind of see how they work with their stuff.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Leah's a medium as well, isn't she?
She is. She's a medium, and she does have her own page, I believe.
Cool.
I can't remember if I posted that with her ad or not.
There's Denise. This is Clinton's sister.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. We're excited to meet her.
Yeah, she does all sorts of readings. I have her listing. I didn't put it with anything because it's fairly lengthy. I think she'll probably post her own prices and stuff like that. But she is a full astrologer, and you can go to astrologywithdenise.com and actually do astrology readings online with her. So you can go see what all she does.
Nice. And then this just shows we've got Christy doing the medium readings, and Rachel is going to do our tarot readings this year, and then Denise with the astrology.
Mm-hmm.
This didn't translate over into a PowerPoint very well, did it? Gotta love it. And then I went ahead and added this. It's jeffprovine.com. If you go there, we talked about him having books to sign and things, but he also leads haunted tours in downtown Norman. and Oklahoma City area. So there's some really cool stuff.
Yeah. I don't know when that kid sleeps.
I don't either. I don't know.
I wish I had half the energy that guy has.
Oh my gosh, he's an English teacher
he's an English professor. Yeah.
And he's written about 1,001 books, and he does all of these ghost tours. He trains people to do them too. Like, he just got done training all the kids at OU to do their October ghost hunts so they could make some extra cash there. Like, I don't know if he sleeps. I wonder if he just like once in a while he makes a whirring sound and shuts down and they plug him in so he can reboot for a little bit. I don't know.
Maybe so. And then we've got Myrtle's Market as one of our sponsors this year. We're super excited about that.
Yeah. She's actually only a couple blocks away from the Paracon. So if you get like a break, or maybe you're not digging on the panel that's going on, but you want to come back for a presentation later, go check out Myrtle's Market. They have all of their really cool vintage Halloween out right now. So you can go hunt the halls for all of their Halloween.
Hi, Sylvain.
Hello, Sylvain.
Hey, buddy.
And, that's really good to have up here, too, because I know I've had, like, the wife of one of the presenters, or actually he's not a presenter, I don't think. But she was looking for places to go visit while she was here. So this would be perfect for her. And then, Mark, do you want to talk about Bargain Center for a minute?
Our friends at Bargain Center in Independence, Kansas, have been a great sponsor this year. They've given us a bunch of swag to give out during the show, and they have provided our very large monitor, which we'll be using for the presenters. Last year we tried to use projectors and it just didn't work out, and our friends at Bargain Center took care of us for the show. And by all means, if you're in the area, I've been doing business with these people for darn near 20 years. Wow. And they have always treated me right, and they'll treat you right.
Nice. And then we've, of course, got one of our biggest promoters, which is Caney City Library. And, they're a little near and dear to my heart. So, yay.
I can't imagine why.
They also happen to pay my paycheck. So, even better.
Books are cool.
Books are very cool.
Yeah. It's cute. You did Halloween decorations. You have a black cat sitting on some books.
Right? That's Miss Luna. We do have a library cat, too. She's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then we've got KGGF 104.1. They helped us out with our audio ad that you saw at the very beginning of the show, and we will play that again at the end. So,
and that's playing on their radio station, especially right after Coast to Coast late at night.
Yes, perfect time.
Which is very cool. Yep. And then we've got a Muse magazine, which our friend Bree Sanford, she is the editor of that, and she's done very well by us past few years. Yes. We appreciate her.
Yes, she has.
And she's also part of the Independence Reporter, and she's hooking us up with some articles there too. And then these kooky ladies, I don't know.
Ooh, they're pretty great though. I'm just saying.
They are.
That Jess is I don't even know what to say about her.
She's a firecracker.
She is.
Like sisters I never had.
Right? We started in January with the podcast, and it's been a blast. I've had a lot of fun with it.
You guys are doing really well with that. I'm very proud of you.
Well, you guys got our start in it, so we appreciate you. We would have never been able to do it. I went back and watched our very first one, and I'm like, ooh.
I made the
that's always
listening to one of my original podcasts, and it was so cringe. It was bad.
Oh, ours is really cringe.
It's not as cringe as it could have been because we had experience.
Oh, it could have been way worse. That's the scary part.
I always say go back and listen to the very first one I was ever on was Mark and Phil's, and Phil introduces me, and there's nothing for 3 beats, and then you hear me in the distance go, hi. And that's all you get.
I remember that day.
That's great. Too funny.
Hello, Jess. How are you?
And at the time, it was just a recording too. They weren't doing the live feeds yet, so you couldn't see how red my face was, even though we were sitting in Phil's very cramped, tiny attic.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. I forgot that you did that out there.
Yep.
And then we've got the On the Fringe, which Jess and I co-host with Mark and Phil. It's a lot of fun.
We have a lot of fun. We talk about all the fun topics.
Yeah.
We get into some crazy stuff.
Yes, we do.
And then there's Mark and Phil on What If Tomorrow? And then there's Amok. We've talked about Amok a little bit already. And Geeks, which is Shauna and Debbie's group. And they also, the third person in their group, her name's Kelly. And she should be there too this year.
Oh.
Yeah. Then we've got Red Dirt Cryptid Investigations, which we kind of like those guys. I guess they're okay.
Yeah.
They're
all right. And then there's Dark Ozarks ad, which they have all kinds of fun stuff going on. Oops. And then Monstrous, which I love he's got the greatest graphics. I need to pick his brain.
Yeah, I am not a graphics guy.
Right. I went ahead and threw a Geneseo City Museum ad up here too. Just
if you're ever in the area, it is worth the visit. They
110%.
Yeah, if you're going to go to Hutch to go see the Cosmosphere and the salt mines and stuff, take a quick 30-minute up jaunt from there and go visit the museum. Call first because it's by appointment, but you won't be disappointed.
You will not.
Yeah,
there is some incredible stuff there.
Oh, even if you're not like that big into UFO, or like maybe one of you is, your spouse may not be that interested. They have just some of the antique stuff that they have in there, because it's also their whole town's museum. So it has like their first yearbook, and they've got this huge. It was the first AT&T operator switchboard thing, the kind like you see in the TV, where you had to unplug one line and plug in the other, that kind of thing. And I think it was only for like 30 lines or something like that.
Yeah, it was really not very big.
Yeah, but it was just, there's so much history there that you could walk through and see all of it. Just small town, kind of Kansas feel for it, that it's just amazing.
And a lot of that was collected by the town doctor. So there is a lot of 1950s, 60s pop culture besides the UFO stuff and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is true.
And you can get the recipe for spam cake.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The award-winning spam.
The award-winning. They won a national competition.
Too funny.
I'm telling you, don't ever miss out on a small town museum. If you're out on vacation and you got some time and you pass through a small town, see if it has a little museum you can pop in on, because you will find the most amazing stuff in the small town museums.
Absolutely. And Alicia, Tim would be all over this place. He would love it.
Yeah.
And we might mention too, the new Kansas.com magazine actually is featuring Geneseo City Museum right now. And they have one of the best covers I've ever seen in my life. I want to get it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Holy cow. I wish I had a picture of it. I do too. I definitely want to get one just for that reason.
Jim needs to have like posters of that to sell up at the museum.
Absolutely. That would be
I would
incredible.
buy one.
I would too. I would too. And then Two Guys in a PA, they are actually running our sound again this year, which we are greatly appreciative of. And I think Jess likes one of them just a little bit. Maybe.
I like them both.
Oh.
One I'm married to, and the other one's like my little brother.
Yeah, she's married to this one right here.
They're both rotten as heck. But they so they do this for free to help us out. And they also play live music in between all the panels and presentations. So you're never sitting there in the quiet staring at each other, watching each other chew popcorn. So you get to listen to some great tunes while you're relaxing and waiting for the next panel to come up.
Fun. They have some 50s and 60s hits to play before Jim does his thing on Geneseo.
I can absolutely set that up.
That would be really cool.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
And we got to do the one-eyed, one-legged purple people eater thingy.
One-eyed, one-eared, yeah. And then there's us.
Oh no, you've got the wrong one.
Do I?
Yeah.
Is there a new one?
Yeah. That's got Enzo and Scotty on it.
Oh, I don't think. Have you sent that one to me?
I will have to send it to you. Yeah.
Good, because I hate that one. So let's get it updated. And then we've got Paranormal or Bordertown Presents, which we were doing the first Friday of every single month, and we've stepped back a little bit from that.
Mm-hmm. We just got
too busy. We got too busy, yeah. But we are going to pick it back up here in October, and it won't be the first Friday. It's going to be the third Friday on the 18th, and we're going to do another Case Files by Candlelight. So if you were able to come to that last year, we had a blast. We got to really kind of go a little bit deeper into some of the investigations that we've done and some of the evidence. It was fun. And then we've also got our Paranormal Club, which is the third Saturday of every month, and we meet at the Caney City Library, and we talk about all kinds of funky things and plan things. And I think this last meeting we had 20 at it, so it's pretty good attendance for the most part. And then one of our sponsors is Curious Relic Studio, which you get a peek in the studio right behind Jess right there.
Don't peek too hard. It's scary.
But look at some of the stuff she creates. Holy cow. She does some amazing things. And then this crazy Silverthorn studio lady, I don't know about her.
She's pretty great, although she's usually pretty hopped up on antibiotics, so you never know.
At least tonight I am, for sure. I've had the ick. And then we go into some of our other sponsors, which Big G's, they are always great to hook us up. And this year they're giving out free fries with meals if you mention Paracon. So yay.
Yeah, this is good food.
Mm-hmm.
Good looking burger. That picture.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's actually one of their burgers too. I took that off of their Facebook page.
That.
They do. Yeah. They've got that good short order grill thing going on. Man, it's tasty food. So,
and actually Stacy's in our chat and she's one of the cooks there.
She is.
She is, yeah. So yeah. And they got the center thing is a chicken chunk dinner, and those are really good too.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got downtown, we've got Gabby's Flea Market and Soda Fountain.
Yeah, they have an old goodies. Yeah. They have an old-fashioned soda fountain. You can get the old-fashioned handmade milkshakes and floats and banana splits and just about anything you can order, they have there. And they also serve lunch on Saturdays from like 10:30 until 1. So, and that's always a homemade meal that's served there. So I don't know what the meal's going to be that Saturday, but
bound to be good though. Mm-hmm. And then Pizza Hut, they are sponsoring us again this year, and they're offering 10% off your order if you mention the Paracon. So yay.
Yay.
And then we've got Pretty Bake downtown. If you've got a sweet tooth, holy cow. Go visit Chelsea because she makes some of the most incredible stuff.
I can't go in there or I will spend all of my money.
Mm-hmm.
Take my money.
The Oompa Loompas have to roll you out.
Holy cow.
Oh my God.
She's got some incredible stuff.
How did he die? Sugar overdose.
And a smile on his face. Yeah.
And then we've got Southern Belle Nutrition out on the highway. They're also doing the 10% off if you mention Paracon, which yay.
Stacy said I won't be coming at Big G's on Saturday though. Gotta be somewhere else that day.
Woohoo! She's gonna be helping us out. Yay.
Yep.
And we've got Sonic. It's always a great sponsor.
Sonic gives us all the water that we need for our speakers. They keep us all hydrated, so we're not looking all shriveled up and gross by the end of the day.
All the water in the green room comes from Sonic.
Very important.
Thank you very much.
And then we go into our raffles, which everyone that comes through the door, you get one free ticket when you enter, and you can put it on any door prize or any raffle item that you want. And then we will go ahead and sell the regular tickets. You can buy them $1 a piece, or you can get 6 tickets for $5. And like we said before, winners will be now announced at 7:30 at the end of the day. And the catch is you have to be present to win. So
that's right.
Gotta wait for me to stop talking at the end of the show.
And now, Jess, do you want to talk about some of these, about the kits?
Sure. So a few years back, we started doing, we actually did just one kit. We did a ghost hunting bag with a few items in it. And it was so popular. Every year we added and a little bit more and a little bit more. This is the UFO hunting kit. And our whole team kind of curates it. And we also pull in ideas from other teams and stuff. You know, what would you want in your bag? And in this one, you're going to get a ghost hunting, or no, excuse me, a ghost hunting. A UFO hunter's book, kind of like a little how-to, a logging journal, so you can kind of log down what it is you're looking at or what you're finding. Binoculars, a laser, of course, so you can signal. A hat, a tactical flashlight, so you make your way around at night through the pasture lands. Bug spray, and important. Enzo has added I'm going to let you talk about it. There you go.
Added a planosphere, which allows you to, it has a dial on the inside and a dial on the outside. You set your local time and the date, and that will be your view of the stars. Like so in this case, looking to the north, and then you flip it over and you can see what your view would be to the south. So you'll be able to identify what stars you're looking at, so you can put it all in perspective to tell if it's a planet, if it's something else. It may not necessarily be a UFO.
Very cool. Yeah. Very, very cool.
Yeah, and it also comes with a flask, because I found these fantastic like outdoors flasks, and I thought, you know, everybody needs a little nippy after you've had your first alien contact, right?
I thought that was like more of a reflection on me and my ability to drink copious amounts of whiskey. But
that too.
And you do a fine job, sir.
Yes. And also this year, usually we put them into like outdoorsy backpacks. This year I found these great, these fantastic tactical bags. So each one of the big 3 kits will come in a tactical bag, and this one has a green one.
Very cool.
Yeah. And here's our Bigfoot hunting kit. Comes with kind of the same kind of stuff. This one, of course, has its tactical bag. It comes with a book on Bigfoot and a log book, so you can jot down all your findings. It comes with a tree knocker, which was suggested by Bigfoot Cryptids. It's one of the things that they use to talk with Bigfoot, apparently. Tactical flashlight, bug spray, binoculars, and Scott, it's not in the picture, but Scott has added a voice recorder.
Very cool.
Hat, and yeah, I think that's everything in that bag. This one is actually our most popular.
This one has a flask as well, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it has a flask in it. This one last year, I think, garnered like 80 tickets.
Yeah, it was very popular.
Yeah, it was very popular.
Yeah, and this is our ghost hunting kit, and this is what we originated with. We've added a little bit to it over the years. You get a Haunted America book and a paranormal log book. You get a K2 meter and dowsing rods. You get a laser grid, a hat, tactical flashlight, and a flask, and a bundle of sage, along with a tactical bag.
Very
yeah,
cool.
And all of those actually come with like a fun little keychain on your bag. This one I was really fond of. I found a fully working magic 8-ball. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Too fun.
This is new for this year. We've never done one of these sets before, and we actually had Lindsay Miles, who's our usual tarot reader, kind of curate this set for us, what all should be included with it. It will come with the Tarot Companion, which will really help you learn how to work the cards and how to read the cards. It comes with specialty card holders, so you can kind of set out your reads in the particular formats that you're supposed to. Of course, a set of cards with a bag holder and some candles to go with that, and of course some sage. and your tablecloth, which is also has particular layouts for different types of sets. And you'll learn about that in your book if you win it.
Yay.
Yay. And the pendulum dowsing set, which was new last year, and it was a huge hit. In fact, I think Ken Romeller won it, much to the dismay of many, many people who were really wanting it.
Wanted that. I think that was our second most popular.
Yeah, it was.
It was getting pretty close to the Bigfoot one. In this one, so you're going to get a carrying bag too. You're going to get the beginner's guide to pendulum dowsing, which was recommended to us last year by Christy Campbell, who also does dowsings. A notebook and pen to kind of write down your findings, a dowsing stone, of course, with its bag, 2 dowsing boards, a colored candle set, which is kind of in that magical realm. You'll find that there's different uses for all those different colored candles. Bundle of sage, and of course the tablecloth for you to work.
I don't know if you can really see that pendulum down there, but y'all, that thing is so cool. When I got it, I was like, man, this is hard to give up.
Yeah. And we will have actual pendulums for sale this year. So we're going to have a small little area for some merchandise. So if you don't win this one, you can always buy your own stone. Okay, and this one was curated by me. I kind of actually I lucked into this gigantic Ouija board fleece blanket, and it's gorgeous. I told Pam I almost kept it for myself. I was like, I kind of want to keep it. But my loss is your gain. So along with this fantastic comfy fleece blanket, I added in a giant book of true hauntings, some coffee from Death Wish. They have a fantastic line. And some tea for those who are maybe not coffee drinkers, a thermal mug and a regular coffee mug, along with a scented candle. So you can kind of have one of those fantastic rainy fall days where you can just snuggle up with your scary book and your hot beverage, and cuddle up and get scared. So
I think this is my favorite out of the sets, honestly.
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I love it. It's a little personal.
Yeah.
All right. So this was put together by Brian Terrell. Unfortunately, he could not be with us this year. He was supposed to be, and then some stuff happened and he had to be elsewhere. And I kind of needled at him a little bit, and I think I went a little too far because he brought us back this. I think he
really hooked us up.
So in this, that he put this completely together himself. So yay, Brian, we appreciate you so much. In this is awesome. He included a signed copy of his Oklahoma Cryptozoology 101 book, completely signed by him, a couple of Bigfoot metal signs and some smaller plaque style Bigfoot pieces, pins and stickers and badges and a hat and a pin. And I think there's even some glow sticks in there to take out with you in the field if you need. This will be available as the Bigfoot Enthusiast Pack. So
that's a really good one. The signed book alone is its own little treasure, but then you get all that other good stuff with it.
Yeah.
One of those retails for like $19.95 or something.
The book,
yeah. So you can get it directly from him, but most of it you get on Amazon, and I believe it's around $20 or something. Speaking of that, he gave us 2 copies of that book. This one is tucked in with this particular pack, but right now, if you get up onto Facebook, you're going to find a like and share. If you like and share the post with this book on it, you will be put in to actually win that secondary signed copy. And you do not have to be at the Paracon when we announce it to win. If you are not available to be there, I will contact you and we will figure out how to get your book to you. So if you would like a free copy of his signed book, get up onto Facebook and like and share that particular one on the SEK Bordertown Paranormal page.
Yep. This is fun.
Yeah, this one. So this one was kind of Pam's situation. So she had a couple of games and some puzzles and things that were kind of themed paranormal, but didn't quite know what to do with them. So we kind of put them all together, and I added in an alien card deck and tons of candy and popcorn and other goodies all tucked down in, so someone can win an entire haunted game night, which I think is actually pretty fun.
That does actually sound fun.
And the book, the Ghost Keeper's Journal, I actually had that, but I hadn't really looked through it. And then Jess was like, "This is like a game."
It's a game.
I had no idea.
So yeah, so what you do is you sit down with your family or whoever's playing the game with you, and it walks you through a mystery that has to be solved. And every page there's something new and fantastic happening and creepy. And you've got to work through the puzzles to win the game. And then in the middle there, the noises in the dark is kind of a fun one. It's actually, you play it in the dark, and you feel on the cards for what it's going to be. And then you have to make the noise that would get the people around you to figure out what you felt on the card. So it's all completely in the pitch black.
Very
so spooky.
Cool. I like it.
And then in the tin on the far side is a really large haunted puzzle that you can put together. And of course, the alien card deck there, so you can play any game you want there. And then, of course, the basket just full of all sorts of fun candies and popcorn. And it comes in a little, well, not a little, it's actually a big decorative popcorn bowl that says Bones all over it. So
should be fun.
Yeah.
Karen said, "Man, those are some cool prizes. I so wish I could attend." We wish you could too. Darn it. Okay, that was the all of our raffles and door prizes and things. And something that we're really excited about this year is Can Coffee and Donuts in Caney. They are going to actually do a pop-up shop in the morning, and we're thrilled because they have the specialty coffees and things, plus they have daylight donuts. So woohoo.
Yeah. So when you come in this time in the morning, don't worry about grabbing breakfast before you come in. You can come in and grab yourself a coffee and some donuts and sit down and have some breakfast while you're listening to the opening panels.
Yep. Pretty exciting.
I'm excited.
Yep.
And this is something else that's new this year. That was one of the big requests that we had was more food, basically. And Jess talked to Emerald City Foods out of Toronto, Kansas, and they agreed to come do a pop-up cafe, and it'll be outside of the venue, kind of on the lawn. But they're doing po' boys, and they'll have drinks and sides, and they look really good. And their prices are really, really reasonable.
Really reasonable. Really, really nice people. So I'm excited.
Food looks to have delicious. Them. I may order some just to try it.
Yeah. So like if you don't want to leave the Paracon this year to go and get a full lunch, you can just pop right outside, grab yourself a lunch and come back in and spend more times chatting with the panelists and the speakers, and looking at all the vendors.
Rick, I'm glad you said that. He just said, "Did y'all get Jackie's and mine basket?" They actually were nice enough to curate a basket for us. And I saw a picture of it. There's some really neat stuff in there. So we did. And I apologize that we skipped over top of that. I don't have a picture of it. We need to get it in here, though. As soon as we
in fact, before we finish off on the raffles, I should say, so Christy is still going to have, of course, I mentioned her witchy basket earlier. She is also still giving away the 2 free readings like she always does every year. So yay. And she will actually be giving away free readings at her table.
Nice.
Yeah. And then Rachel Patton, the very nice lady from Independence who is filling in as our tarot reader this year, has gifted us one large tarot reading. That'll be available for raffle too. So yay.
We also have another raffle that's coming from Ken Romeller. It is I can't remember what venue it was he was at, but he won a Ouija board and a planchette with whatever name of the place it was. It was one of the manors or something that he was at. But he was like, "Would you guys like to have this?" I was like, "Absolutely, that would be so cool." Wow. It's really, really neat looking.
Cool.
But yeah, it's very cool. So I was excited. I completely blanked on it though.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And there probably will be a few more because often we get vendors or other authors who will just offer up stuff for us when they come in. Hey, would you guys like to raffle this? So there's no telling what all you're going to find.
Yeah, all kinds of neat stuff.
It's worth it to come just for the fun raffles, really.
It is. And this is our last slide. We are going to have a concession stand that will open up after Becca's the Can shop coffee shop shuts down. And we've got soda pop and bottled water and candy, chips, nuts, fresh popcorn. And again, all of the proceeds from all of this go back in the kitty towards next year's Paracon. So bring money.
And we will also have donation buckets out. We always do that. Even if you can only give $1, it's great because like she was saying, all of this comes out of our pocket. We absolutely want to keep this as free. We want to keep this free for as long as we possibly can.
Absolutely.
So every last little bit helps. And like I said earlier, we're going to have some merchandise out this year that you can buy. We're going to have some like necklaces and scrying crystals and keychains, and
we have some artwork too.
Pam's bringing in some of her art. That's the sale of that will go back into the con too. And all the concessions, and of course the booklets, the souvenir booklets. Be prepared with some cash and show us some love.
We will also have links out to our Teespring store. Which is apparently I'm going to recommend to click the button for the rush order because they are taking their time.
They are.
They really are.
I think. Am I the only one that's gotten a shirt yet?
Yes.
I think so.
And it's I
was the first one to order, and I'm still waiting on mine.
Well, I didn't get my Bordertown Strange, and we do have Bordertown Strange merch up there as well. And I haven't got it, and I ordered it before I ordered the Paracon shirt. So I don't know if it's the comfort tea thing. Is it that what you thought? Maybe it was.
I thought, but I got to looking. There are several of the comfort teas that haven't shipped yet. So I'm thinking maybe in the future I'll click that rush delivery and see if that speeds them up because they seem to be taking their time. They don't usually. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
They were bought by another company, so
maybe that's playing into it. Yeah. I know we did not put a year on our shirts, so it's not going to say 6th annual or anything or 2024. So if you do order one, and you can use it next year too.
Yep.
So yay.
If you don't remember the link, we will put it up on our page so you can click the link and visit our store anytime.
And Enzo's showing that. That's what's on the t-shirts. Is this right here? It looks really good.
Our logo. Bill Knight designed.
He did. He did a great job.
He did. So speaking of merchandise, before we leave this behind or whatever, I do want to say, so if you've never been to the con before, we allow vendors in for free. Also, the vendors don't pay to set up. And this year it looks like we're going to have a good amount. It's been a little shallow before, but that's always the way it is when you're starting up a new little festival or whatever. You've got to kind of gain some speed, and we're getting a lot in. We've got people coming in with turned wood pieces and lasered wood pieces and 3D pieces and metaphysical type stuff. We have one group that's coming in. They're going to have Bordertown Paracon items that they've actually made. So
that's
you can
very
have
cool
souvenir stuff. And also a lot of the authors are coming in with their books, which is fantastic for you all because that means you can go and buy a book and have it signed by the author right there and chit chat with them.
Which is the best.
And believe it or not, they love it. They love to be able to talk to you about their books and to sign that for you and personalize it for you. So another great thing about being at the Paracon, you can just walk right up to them and be like, hey, tell me about this book.
And the vendors are located in the same area in the same gym area that the Paracon itself, the presenters are in. So you can shop and not miss out on any of the goings on while you're there.
Yeah, and if you're considering being a vendor for us next year, you don't miss the Paracon. You're right there on the floor. You can listen to all the presentations, and it's great.
That's right.
It's so much fun, y'all. We have such a blast. You know, I feel like we've got a well-oiled machine going now. And Jess and I were talking earlier how we actually are not panicked, which is nice.
I'm nice. Actually ahead of schedule just a little bit. So
yep. So we're thrilled. Pretty wild.
That's fantastic.
Hopefully we didn't just knock on wood and just jinx ourselves.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. I think we're good.
I figure if anything else pops up, then it wasn't meant to be.
Absolutely. You're right.
Right?
Absolutely. All righty. So
do we have anything else to talk about?
I think that was the big part of it. Was getting,
that was the big part. There was a lot going on.
There's a lot, y'all. And it is a whole day. We open the doors at 9. We run until 7:30 at night. And it's constant. There is always something going on. If there's not a presenter, there's music happening. You know, there's the vendors, there's concessions, there's food, there's all kinds of good stuff. So plus the readers out in, you know, we've got the psychic medium and so and
it's
the astrologer.
Bring
so good.
Yeah. Bring some cash. Bring your stadium cushion. Bring your stadium cushion. We actually have stadium seating in there. Because it is the rec center, so we get to enjoy a little bit of that. So you get some risers. So if you want to kind of be up above the crowd a little bit, you can totally do that. But we also have the metal chairs. And I will say it's an all-day event. And if you are really interested in this stuff and you really want to sit through some presentations, you bring a big cushy coat to sit on or your stadium cushion. We actually have people that bring them in with them and set up their full stadium setups that they take to the Chiefs game and stuff. So they can hang out on the stands or in the chairs all day long, no problem. And it's one of our projects we kind of want to do eventually. We kind of want to do Paracon stadium seating. So you can buy your cushion at the door. Not quite in our field yet, but we're getting there.
We're getting there. Every year is getting closer. And Chris brought up a great point. She said, will the presenters be taped to watch later for those of us that have to leave early? And yes, they will be. And for those, we know that not everybody can get to Caney. And we have a lot of fans that are not in the area or close enough to come in. So we do offer as a live stream. And you can get to it. The link is actually on Southeast Kansas Bordertown Paranormal's Facebook page right now. And it's on our Bordertown Strange page as well. And there's links that will send you to YouTube, or if I remember correctly, I know it'll play on Bordertown Strange page, and I'm pretty sure we can get it to stream onto Facebook as well for the Bordertown Paranormal page. But yes, there will be ways, and again, it'll live stream, and it will also record. So if you can't watch it right then on Saturday, you can go back and watch it at a later date.
Yep, it'll be on YouTube.
Yep.
In fact, if you want to like warm up your chops for the Paracon coming in, you can actually go back through our wall a year on SEK Bordertown Paranormal and watch last year's presentations and panels because they are up.
Absolutely.
You can go back and watch them.
Unfortunately, they were not on YouTube last year, but this year they definitely will be. Yes. And Rick came in a little late and he said, do y'all got the programs finished? Would you like to show those again, Jess?
We do.
They look great, Rick. We're super excited.
Right. Yep. So
18 pages of goodness in there.
Yep. Everything you're going to need to know about the con.
Everything you wanted.
And you get a little bit of additional information on the presenters and the moderators.
Yep. And right there, there is a complete listing of all the speakers and panelists coming in and who they're affiliated with and where you can find them. So you won't be left questioning anymore. And all of these people will be available for you to chit chat with.
Yep. So they came out really great. We're super excited. So yay. We're coming up. Yay! So it is 8:30. Should we go ahead and get started with the notebook game?
We totally can. I'm ready. Let me make sure I've got the 5. 1, 2, 3.
The notebook
so
best thing.
It's the best. Yeah. And I'm not sure if everybody in here, I'm not sure if Karen, are you familiar with the notebook game? So what Jess does, she keeps everything in notebooks, and she is a meticulous note taker. So when she fills one up, she moves to another one, and they're all categorized and very just full of little tidbits of totally cool information. So when we first got the podcast started, Enzo had the idea that, you should make a game out of these. And so the notebook game was born. And so what Jess does is she brings at least 5 notebooks. Do you have 5 today?
5. I have 5.
So you'll pick a number of a notebook, so 1 through 5, and then a page number, and it's 65 or under on a page number. So I see a lot of people in here going, yay, notebooks. So if you guys want to go ahead and put down what notebook number and what page number you would like for her to look up, we'll see what fun stuff's in there.
Yep. Right. You can actually go up to 75, page 75 or under.
Now. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So what are we doing? Book 3, page 33.
Page 33.
All right. Let's see here. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment while I
always get ridiculously excited for this game. There's always so much fun stuff in here.
Same.
There we go. Okay. Page 33. This is on the Marfa lights.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so Marfa lights out of Marfa, Texas. If y'all don't know, and literally what the notebook game is I'm just going to read what's on the page, so you get what you get. So, for more than 135 years, mysterious glowing orbs have appeared in the night sky, known as the Marfa lights. These otherworldly wonders remain one of the most unexplained mysteries in the United States. The first sighting was in 1883 when a young cowhand named Robert Reed Ellison saw a mysterious dancing light as he was driving his cattle through the plains and was so spooked he told everyone in town about it. Since then, farmers, World War II servicemen, and high school sweethearts have reported seeing pulsating, colorful balls of light along an uninhabited stretch of prairie southeast of Marfa known as the Pisano Pass. The actor James Dean was rumored to be so obsessed with the lights that he kept a telescope in his Marfa hotel room during the filming of the movie Giant in 1956.
Cool.
Today, on clear nights, as the sun sets, people from all over the world descend on the roadside Marfa Lights viewing area near this one-horse town and stare out across the desert scrub towards the Chinati Mountains in hopes of catching a glimpse of this bizarre phenomenon. There's no way to predict when or where the lights will appear, but the glowing orbs generally form fewer than 30 times a year, usually just after the sun sets or rises. Some say the lights are roughly the size of basketballs and dart wildly across the desert or hover as they pulsate. Others say the spheres appear colored as they twinkle in the distance. Sometimes they're red, other times they're blue, yellow, or white. Often a second orb will appear to split, merge, float, or melt into the first. And then it goes on. Now, if I remember correctly, they did a lot of work trying to disprove the lights or figure out what they were. For a while, they thought they were lights from cars on a distant highway, but that proved false. They also thought it was some kind of like a will-o'-the-wisp, like a natural occurring electrical phenomenon, but they proved that wrong too. So even the scientists are kind of dumbfounded on what these are. Very famous though. Look up Marfa lights if you're at home. They're really super interesting, and they have become so ingrained with that part of the culture there. There's just all sorts of stuff with them. They're in movies, and it's crazy. Marfa lights are pretty cool.
They are. Yay.
All right. What have we got next?
All right. Ginger has notebook 5, page 63.
Okay. Ooh. Oh my goodness. It's heavy.
Full of knowledge.
Too much knowledge. Thankfully, this is a numbered one.
Yay.
Yay. All right. Let's see here. What is this on? Oh, this is the time traveling bird with the baguette.
Oh,
do you guys remember that at all? Yeah,
I've never heard this one.
That's awesome.
So okay. So this is part of the research I was doing. So I did a UFO Garage podcast with Will, and the both of us were doing CERN. And I did a deep dive, like, to get some really good crap on CERN so we could really put a good show together. And I had found this story about the time traveling bird with the baguette. So I'll just read it. This happened November 3rd, 2009. The supercooled magnets in the collider, and really quick for you who don't know, so CERN is the big super collider that they talked about years ago. They were trying to shoot the particles at each other, and they did it. And they found the Higgs boson, or the God particle is what the news was calling it. This is what we're talking about. This is that machine, the collider. So the supercooled magnets in the collider began to suddenly overheat one day. And I remember it wasn't too long after they had first kicked it on. It'd only been on for like a day. And I will tell you something, to kick on the collider is a feat. It takes 3 days to get it super cooled enough to get the magnets to even work. So this is not a simple, like, flip a switch and it's on. No, it takes some time. The collider began to suddenly overheat. A piece of baguette was later found in the system. They believe a passing bird may have dropped a chunk of bread into an electrical substation above the accelerator, causing the power to cut out. It took a few days for the magnets to supercool enough to turn the collider back on after they had even found the situation. So two scientists, Beck Nelson and Masao Ninom, I always say his name wrong, Ninomiya. It's Asian. I apologize wherever you are, sir. Published papers. They both published papers, scientific papers, arguing that the CERN experiments were so unacceptable to our universe that Mother Nature had sent the time-traveling bird to thwart their experiments. There was actual scientific papers written up on why they were sure that this was such a farce against Mother Nature that she sent a bird with a chunk of biscuit to chuck down in the works to put the kibosh on it. So, yeah.
Oh, my.
How big of a chunk of course, baguette, those are the long, thin pieces of bread. I wonder how big of a chunk it was. That is hilarious.
It must have been big enough to really do that substation in, to blow the whole thing.
Up the work.
That's wild.
Yep.
It's bizarre.
All right.
That's wild. Okay, Karen wants book 1, page 62.
All right. I'm going to move the other books out of the way. It's really tall. Okay. Oh, this one is a numbered one. Yay.
Yay. Even better.
They're not all numbered because they're just my notebooks. But sometimes when everybody's sitting around just chit-chatting, I'll sit here and number them when I'm not actively talking. So it gives me a little something to do, and that makes it easier for notebook games. All right. Oh, Mark will like this. This is a partial listing of different giants and giant skeletons that were found across the world. This is just a small section. So I'm going to read it.
My alley.
Yep. Cowan's Corner Giant, 1876, East Randolph, New York. He was found 9 feet. His shin bone was 28 inches in length. His foot was 14 inches and shoulders 35 inches. Sorry, I was having trouble reading my own writing. The Montessori skulls, found in 1900 in Montessori, Missouri. Skulls of 3 prehistoric giants were found by a farmer 40 feet down. The immense size of the skulls indicate they were around 10 feet tall. A large amount of double row teeth were found, especially in the greater northeast giants. They also found a large amount of ancient horn giants there. The Ozark Goliath from the 1930s. He was 8.5 feet tall, found in a cave. Oh, it's named Puckett's Cave, by a boy looking for arrowheads in Steelville, Missouri. And the Bernard Giant, 1883, in Bernard, Missouri, found by John Hannon in a washed-out ravine. It was 12 feet tall. Skull and circumference was 40 inches. Ribs were 4 feet long and 3 1/4 inches wide. Thigh bones were 30 inches long and feet were 18 inches long. It was literally just a listing.
Pretty wild.
And it continues. For any of you who are interested, go back and watch the What If Tomorrow on the Fringe podcast from a year or two ago. It just keeps going. The list of giants that they've actually found in the Americas.
Yep.
So
there's a bunch.
Yep.
Very cool.
All right. What are we doing now?
Alicia, notebook 4, page 27.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 27. Woohoo! This one's numbered.
Hey, must really get bored when the rest of us are talking.
I don't get bored. It's really easy to number pages and follow along with a conversation.
You don't have to make an excuse.
Well, I feel I do. You're kind of putting me under pressure here, mister. Okay.
You're the one not listening to the show.
Under pressure.
Oh. Okay. So this is about a 1.8 billion year old nuclear reactor they found in Oklo, Gabon Republic in Africa. So this is just one of those weird anomaly things. In 1972, a French factory imported uranium ore from Oklo in Africa's Gabon Republic. The uranium had already been extracted. Now, if you don't know anything about that process whatsoever, there is a lot that goes into the process of extracting uranium and the whole shebang. They found the site of origin to have apparently functioned as a large-scale nuclear reactor that came into being 1.8 billion years ago and was in operation some 500,000 years ago. Dr. Glenn T. Seaborg, former head of the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission and Nobel Prize winner for his work in the synthesis of heavy elements, explained that he believes it cannot be a natural phenomenon and is a man-made nuclear reactor. For uranium to burn in a reaction, very precise conditions are needed. The water must be extremely pure, much purer than exists naturally. The material U-235 is necessary for nuclear fission to occur. It is one of the isotopes found naturally in uranium. Several specialists in reactor engineering have said that they believe the uranium in Oklo could not have been rich enough in U-235 for a reaction to have taken place naturally. So, what the heck was a nuclear reactor doing around 1.8 billion years ago?
Well, aliens or time travelers, or they might already be the same.
Civilization,
or an ancient civilization that was just as, forward as we were.
Billion? So. It's a long time ago.
It is.
Well, that long, billion years. We're talking probably visitors. Probably research base.
Almost 2 billion years. That's a long time.
That's going to have to be a research base.
Think about it, though. I mean, how many years would it really take to break down everything around us that would even show that our civilization had?
Not that long.
Not really.
Yeah. Nearly every man-made type object would be gone in a few thousand years.
Yeah.
Less,
yeah.
Almost 2 billion.
Couple billion. Yeah.
We have trouble finding stuff from 2,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm. All right. Chris has book 1, page 13.
Okay. I was just showing you this. Yep. Maybe that lost. It was a lost reactor from Atlantis.
Could be.
All right. So this page.
How far is that reactor from the eye of the Sahara?
This page is on the die block.
Atlantis.
On the what?
On the die block. So the die clock is what everyone at home probably knows as the Nazi bell, right? So I'm gonna read it and then I'll fill in the blanks if I need to for those at home. A time machine the Nazis invented to change the outcome of the war, claimed to be made of anti-gravity UFO parts, claims that it was seized by the U.S. during Project Paperclip. Theories include that the U.S. captured Nazi scientists to continue work on the bell's anti-gravity technology, when it ended up being the cause of the Kecksburg incident. It's one of the theories. Where a bell-shaped UFO crashed outside of Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, December 1965. Claims it was also really just a Soviet probe that had fallen. All sorts of insanity with that. I believe we did a little bit on the die glock when we were talking about like the chronovisor and stuff like that with the guys over on the fringe.
We did.
Die glock gets into some hairy stuff. So you're going to go in like 5,000 different directions. So you've got end of the war, you've got the US stepping in and stealing Germany's scientists and hauling them over here to do work for us that was not good work either. And then you've got like the supposed that it might have been some kind of a time traveling device too, or maybe it was alien technology that was being used and studied on, and just 1,000 different ways. It's a super interesting. It maybe we might have to do like a die glock show one whole night and just spend time on what happened with it, how it came about, where it maybe went to. There's a whole bunch of theories on where it ended up. So a lot of people think it's sitting right here in the US. So
could be.
Crazy stuff. All right, what do we got next?
Rick has notebook 2, page 42.
Okay. All right. Oh, give me a second. It's not
not numbered.
Yeah, that the Glocka and then the Kecksburg kind of where they do the just physical description of the object is very, very similar, even down to the strange writing on the sides and stuff like that. And Kecksburg is one of those classical UFO type cases where suddenly, magically, the military just suddenly appears shortly after it hits the ground, and they're kicking people out of the woods and then hauling this thing off. It's like, how did they know to be there and get there so quickly?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear that? Sorry,
what was that?
Hear it. Raven kicked on the shower.
Oh.
It scared me. I always forget that the pipes kind of creak. We're in an older house, so it kind of creaks for a minute. All right. So this is on, and this is right up Mark's alley again. This is on the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics and other Egyptian items that were found within the US and other places where they shouldn't have been. At times they shouldn't have been. So let's see here. In 1914, archaeologist M.A. Gonzalez was excavating some Mayan ruins in the city of, I have no idea how to pronounce this city, Acajutla, Mexico.
It's part of our charm. We don't know how to pronounce anything.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that one. When he was surprised by the discovery of 2 statuettes that were clearly Egyptian, one male and one female. The carvings bore ancient Egyptian dress and cartouches. They are thought to depict Osiris and Isis. Ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs have been found in New South Wales, Australia, located on a rock cliff in the National Park Forest of the Hunter Valley, north of Sydney. The enigmatic carvings have been known since the early 1900s. There are more than 250 carvings of familiar Egyptian gods and symbols, including a life-size engraving of the god Anubis. The hieroglyphics tell the story of explorers who were shipwrecked in a strange and hostile land, and the untimely death of their royal leader, Lord Jezeb. From this information, scholars have been able to date the voyage to somewhere between 1779 and 2748 BC.
Nice.
Where was that at?
Yeah. That was in just outside of Sydney, Australia. In 1982, archaeologists digging at Fayum near the Siwa Oasis in Egypt uncovered fossils of kangaroos and other Australian marsupials. Yeah. That aren't supposed to cross that line, didn't you? And
the Wallace line.
Right.
The Wallace line?
Yeah. The Wallace line.
Right?
Yeah.
In language, there are striking similarities between the languages of ancient Egypt and those of the Native Americans that inhabited the areas around Louisiana about the time of Christ. B. Fell of Epigraphic Society has stated that the language of the Attakapas, and to a lesser extent those of the Tunica and the Chitimacha tribes, have affinities with Nile Valley languages involving just those words one would associate with Egyptian trading communities of 2,000 years ago.
B. Fell, that's Barry Fell. He's he's got some good stuff out there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Do we have anything more?
We do. We have one more.
Okay.
Cord says
it's Cord.
It's Cord. Book 1, page 3. Hi, Cord.
Okay.
At least you don't have to dig very far down deep to find that.
No, I just got to get out the right book. Go back to the first one. All right. Which one did you want? Book 1,
Book
page
1, page 3.
Page 3.
Page 3. Okay, easy enough. All right. Let's see here. This is Basagio.
Oh,
so this
Basagio.
is Andrew Basagio. So I have to give you a little bit of for you to understand what this is talking about. So this is when he visited George Washington's encampment. Basagio claims that he was part of a community of children that were raised up through the U.S. government and were charged with learning how to use our supposed time traveling machines that they stole from kind of Tesla's paperwork and stuff, and that he and others were taught to travel through different parts of time and to, I don't think it was so much to change things, but was as to make sure that things happened the way that they were supposed to. And he has lots of these stories that he's told. And this page is on the story of when he was sent back to George Washington's famous encampment at New York Harbor. So I'm just going to read it. Basagio was sent to the encampment in Brooklyn Heights above New York Harbor with a message from the Nixon administration to Washington to retreat his troops from New York Harbor. He says that Washington believed he and the other boys sent with him on this job were angels. They persuaded him by showing him two-dimensional holograms of an eagle landing on a red, white, and blue shield with arrows, and said, "Surely, General Washington, this could not be an artifact from your time. It has to come from the future." He said, "I most agree. In fact, this is something I'd like to show Ben Franklin. It's fascinating. I will retreat my troops immediately." So that's the story from there. And it's not here, but we found out later on there is actually a couple little things that happened later on that kind of denotes this might have actually happened. There's some journals, I believe, that Washington kept where he made note of being at this encampment and saying he had a run-in with the angels, and it changed his mind on some things.
Yep.
So
I remember that.
I don't know. It could be true.
Interesting. Pretty cool.
Was that one of the kids from Montauk? Is that where that comes from?
Not the same kid from Montauk. Andrew didn't. Program. Well, I mean, those programs kind of bleed into each other with some particular players, but I don't believe Andrew was a part of that. He knows of it. He knows people that were in it, but I don't think that part bleeds. But yeah, those two things bleed: Montauk and Philadelphia. And
this device was apparently set up at the Curtis factory, if I recall correctly.
Familiar with this?
Sounds right. Yeah,
this one.
It's pretty interesting, though.
Yeah,
I'd like to know more.
Right? We'll have to. We'll have to dive on that one again. That's a good one.
Yeah. I have a good notebook full of it.
Yay!
Anywho, okay, are we coming down towards the end here?
We are. We got about 5 minutes left.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we get out of here?
I think so. Do we want to play our ad again?
Yeah, play it one more time. It's fun.
Because there's more people in here now. So yeah, you get to see our actual audio Paracon ad. So here we go.
Are you interested in the paranormal? Join us at Bordertown Paracon 2024, Saturday, September 28th from 9 until 7:30 in Caney, Kansas, at the Rec Center on Highway 75 just south of Pizza Hut. Listen to experts from the 4-state area discuss legends, ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, and other cryptids. Door prizes and raffles, medium, tarot, and oracle readings, and vendors. It's free for ages 12 and up. For more information, visit SEK Bordertown Paranormal on Facebook or go to bordertownparanormal.com.
Yay!
It's so professional.
It is.
All right. Really well, are we all done then? Okay,
I think we are.
Visit us this Saturday. Come and see all 4 of us and the rest of the team and everybody else is coming. We will chit chat and hang out with you for the day.
Fun.
Yeah, it's going to be great fun.
Yay.
So thank you to everybody who hung out in the chats tonight and hung out with us and played the notebook game. And of course, thank you for all of the likes and the shares that I know you guys did. Thanks to Enzo and Mark for coming on tonight and hanging out with us.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to have you guys.
Yeah, I'm sure we really had to twist their arms to get them to come on. You know,
oh
they
yeah,
were like, oh, God, we can't be bothered.
Not again.
Our show notes. Our show notes can be found on our website, www.bordertownparanormal.com. Hit the button at the top. You can also find information for the Paracon on there. Like I said, it's completely free. It is 12 and older. Please. We would love to have your children there too, but it's a lot of adult conversation. So leave the kids at home and come and spend a fun afternoon with us. We go live every other night at 7 p.m. Central. We'll be back October 9th with a whole new show, probably recovering from the Paracon. You'll get to hear all about it.
For sure.
Yep. So keep it weird. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, I can't believe that you're going to do all that stuff on Saturday and then Sunday go on a road trip.
Yeah, we are. We're so excited. The Haunted Objects. Haunted Objects live podcast. It's Greg and Dana Newkirk. They're going to be in Wichita. So Jess, Jen, and I are going to head up there after we're completely dead on our feet from Paracon and hang out with them for a little bit. So it'll be exciting.
I'm probably going to be asleep in the back seat.
Y'all have to keep me awake to drive. That's all I ask.
Yep. All right. Okay, let's get on out of here. We'll let everybody go home. We'll see you all on Saturday. So keep it weird, keep it strange, and remember, it's all connected. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.